What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I would like to talk about why the Atlanta Falcons must re-sign Cordarrelle Patterson. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you'll know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content. Hit that like button for your boy. I do really appreciate each and every one of you guys continuing to tune into the channel. Continuing to support your boy, continuing to help me grow my channel. If you would like to follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. If you would like to donate to my Cash App, you can donate to my Cash App, which is the $ Jew Talk Sports. But I really appreciate each and every one of you guys continuing to help me grow my channel. We are currently on the road to 2,000 subscribers. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So like I mentioned in today's video, I want to talk about why the Atlanta Falcons must re-sign Cordarrelle Patterson. As you guys know, Cordarrelle Patterson did sign with our Atlanta Falcons in the offseason. He signed a one-year deal with our Atlanta Falcons. He was a guy that Dave Ragone, who is our offensive assistant or offensive coordinator / offensive assistant to Arthur Smith, who is our head coach. But he was one of the main reasons that Cordarrelle Patterson signed with the Atlanta Falcons, because he did coach Cordarrelle Patterson last season with the Chicago Bears. Over the last couple seasons, he coached Cordarrelle Patterson with the Chicago Bears. So that was one of the main reasons that Cordarrelle Patterson came over to the Atlanta Falcons when Arthur Smith was hired, and he brung over Dave Ragone because him and Dave Ragone are really good friends. Cordarrelle Patterson was one of those guys that Dave Ragone really wanted to sign with the Atlanta Falcons, and he was one of the main reasons that Cordarrelle Patterson signed with us. So I think that it is really critical that our Atlanta Falcons re-sign Cordarrelle Patterson either at some point during this season or definitely after the season is over. I could see the Falcons signing Cordarrelle Patterson to probably like a 2 or 3 year deal. I believe Cordarrelle Patterson is about 30 years old, and he's been in the league, been a journeyman around the NFL, but he is a very explosive player. I feel like it's very critical that we bring him back because he's a guy that plays multiple roles on our Atlanta Falcons team, and he's a very versatile player. It recently came out that Cordarrelle Patterson stated that he's not a running back, he's not a wide receiver, but that he's an athlete. And I completely agree with him. He is that Swiss Army knife type guy, a guy that you can use pretty much anywhere on your offense. He can play pretty much any position, any of the skill positions. And to me, he fits Arthur Smith's scheme perfectly because he's a guy that's very physical, is not afraid to go across the middle. He runs the ball very physically between the tackles. And he's one of those guys that's a game breaker and an X factor, I feel like, for this Atlanta Falcons team. Being that he's a guy that can take a screen to the house because he has those kick return skills. He has very good vision as a running back and as a wide receiver and as a kick returner. So with our Atlanta Falcons, he plays a lot of different roles. He plays special teams, both punt return and kick return. He can do both. He's able to be a gunner on special teams during punt coverage. He's also one of those guys, like I said, that we use as a running back and we also use as a wide receiver. So he's one of those guys I feel like that's kind of irreplaceable as far as everything that he can do. And I feel like being that you're only able to carry so many players on game day on the 53-man roster, I feel like Cordarrelle Patterson is one of those guys that we must bring back as the Atlanta Falcons, and I can see the Falcons definitely re-signing him. Now, one of the fears that I have is during the offseason, once this season is over, being that Cordarrelle Patterson has had a big season, a great season so far for our Atlanta Falcons, another team could try to outbid us for Cordarrelle Patterson's services. So that is one of my fears. But I don't think that Cordarrelle Patterson is going to want to leave the Atlanta Falcons because he fits Arthur Smith's scheme and Dave Ragone's offensive scheme so well. I really would be surprised if Cordarrelle Patterson leaves the Falcons to go to another team. Personally, I think that this is the most success Cordarrelle Patterson has had in his NFL career as an offensive player. He's been more of a gadget guy. When he first came in the league, he was drafted as a wide receiver by the Minnesota Vikings, but he's played with a number of teams. He's played with the Patriots. He played with the Chicago Bears. He played with the Oakland Raiders for a little while. And he mainly was just a special teams ace type guy who was one of the better kick returners in the game. But when he went to Chicago, Dave Ragone put him in the backfield and allowed him to carry the ball. Even though he wasn't the featured back in Chicago, Dave Ragone seen something in him. And as long as Dave Ragone is here, and long as Arthur Smith is here, I really don't see Cordarrelle Patterson wanting to leave the Atlanta Falcons, because this year he's actually having like a Pro Bowl season as a running back and as a wide receiver and as a special teamer. So I really don't think that Cordarrelle Patterson, even if another team tries to outbid us, I don't think Cordarrelle Patterson is going to want to leave the Falcons because of the way that the Falcons are using him. And I talk about this a lot of times when guys leave teams in free agency, and usually they go to another team and they're not as successful. Usually it's because the player doesn't fit the scheme, kind of like a Josh Norman when he left the Carolina Panthers and he went to play with the Washington football team. At the time, it was the Washington Redskins. He didn't have the same success that he had with the Panthers as he's had with the Washington Redskins, because Josh Norman was a zone corner and Washington was trying to use him as a man-to-man corner. So it's just kind of the same situation with a guy like Cordarrelle Patterson. I feel like Dave Ragone and Arthur Smith, he fits this scheme perfect. And I don't know if he went to any other team for more money, I don't think that he'll be able to have the same success as far as duplicating the numbers that he's putting up and having the same production as he's having with our Atlanta Falcons, because he fits Arthur Smith's scheme, this physical style of scheme, this run-heavy scheme. He fits this scheme perfect. So I really don't see Cordarrelle Patterson really wanting to leave our Atlanta Falcons. But he should be top priority. I really do think that the Falcons are going to bring him back. Terry Fontenot is one of those guys as the GM of our team that was really good with the New Orleans Saints as far as convincing players to stick with the New Orleans Saints, even if it meant taking a pay cut or making less money. So I definitely think that Terry Fontenot can be a very convincing GM. And I do think that he's already probably in Cordarrelle Patterson's ear, both him and his agent talking about possibly restructuring his contract in some way to make sure he stays with our Atlanta Falcons for years to come. But I definitely think that Cordarrelle Patterson is a guy that we need to bring back. Like I said, he's one of those guys that's really irreplaceable on this team for everything that he brings to the table. And he's one of those guys that I definitely see the Atlanta Falcons bringing back. And I definitely think that Cordarrelle Patterson is one of the leaders on this team. Like I said, the fire starter on this team and one of the X factors or wild cards for our Atlanta Falcons. But with that being said, you guys let me know what you think of the video. Let me know what you think about Cordarrelle Patterson. Like I said, I'm really impressed with Cordarrelle Patterson. I didn't expect when we signed him for him to have this big of a role on our team, but he has really stepped up and put the league on notice that he is one of the best playmakers in the league. And he's definitely having a Pro Bowl season so far this year. And I definitely hope that the Falcons find a way to re-sign this kid. But with that being said, this been your boy Jew. I'll holler at you guys in the next video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. Peace.